Hello and welcome to another edition of What I Wish I Knew when starting Magic the Gathering Arena. Today we're going to talk about the ranking system, which is quite an interesting little system. There's a lot of complexities and nuances to it that I had no idea about when I first started playing, so let's get into it. So the ranking system can probably most easily be talked about if we go ahead and look at the profile page. So on here, you'll see your rank listed here. So this is April 2021. The seasons do reset every month. So the ranking system that we're going to talk about today is a month-long system, and it will reset. Everyone will start a new season every month. So each month is essentially a new season of ranked play. Now within that, there are several tiers that you can reach and several ranks that you can also reach. You'll see here I have a constructed rank, gold tier 3, and a bronze tier 3 limited rank. So I haven't played much limited this season, but I have played a little bit more of constructed, which is essentially the one I play the most is just standard play. But if we go ahead and look into this, we'll actually see what are some of the rewards that you get, because at the end of every month you do get rewards for your rankings. So if we tap on this, we can actually see what this looks like. So for constructed, and the rewards are exactly the same for constructed and limited, so exactly the same there. But if you finish the season at the end of the month in bronze, which if you don't even do anything, you would finish in bronze, you would get one pack as a reward. So not a lot, but not horrible either. A free pack is nice, one booster pack. And then and you'll notice it's Kaldheim packs because we did start this season in Kaldheim. I assume next month we will be in Strixhaven because Strixhaven did release in the middle of the April 2021 season. But for this one, the silver reward, you'll get one pack plus 500 gold. So that's a little bit nicer. But again, you can get 500 gold in a day from completing a daily quest. So the rewards aren't phenomenal when you talk about, your ranking rewards. Gold, you would get 2 packs, 1,000 gold, and 1 card style, which is also, you could think of it as the alternate art edition, or those styles that turn a normal card into, that cool parallax effect with some extended art and blings out your deck a little bit. So you'll get that. And then you'll also get in platinum 3 packs, 1,000 gold, and 2 card styles. Jump up to 4 packs, the same rewards. And then in mythic, it's 5 packs with 2 card styles. So you get, those are really, if you go mythic rank, which is the top rank in the game, you get not honestly that great of rewards for such a large accomplishment, but there are a lot of people that end up reaching the mythic rank, so it kind of makes sense. So 5 packs, 1,000 gold, and 2 card styles for that. The thing to note also is you will get a reward for both constructed and limited. So at the end of this, if I were to finish where I am right now, within the next 9 days, if I don't go any higher, I'm in the gold tier for constructed, so I would get this reward of 2 packs, 1,000 gold, and 1 card style. And if I don't ascend any higher in limited, then I would get also a pack. So 2 separate rewards. I would get each of those rewards at the end of the month, and then the month starts over. There are a couple other really important considerations that you'll need to make when thinking about the ranking system, and these are the things that I really didn't understand. So stay tuned for this, because this is the part that I wish I would have understood if I had a chance to know this when I had first started out. I probably would have approached my play a little bit differently and understood there are definitely some advantages to finishing in a certain rank, or finishing just high enough, even in a tier within a rank, even if you can't, like let's say you're just at the beginning of one of these ranks and you don't think you can make it to the next rank, but you can maybe ascend a tier or more, then that's an option for you. Now, what do I say when I mean tier? Well, right here, you'll see it says gold tier 3, right? And there's these little pips right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 little ones there. And right now I'm at the very beginning of gold tier 3. If I were to win, I would have more of these fill in. So you would see these would kind of be orange highlighted as I win more matches, or lose. Sometimes they can go away depending on what rank you're in. So I'll cover that in just a moment. But essentially you need to fill in 6 of these to ascend 1 tier. So if I filled in 6 of these, and I'll show you what you have to do to fill in 6. If I filled in 6 of these, then you would be at gold tier 3. If I do it again, I'll be at gold tier 1. And then if I do it again, I'll be ranking up to platinum, which is the next level above, the next rank above gold. And I'll start out at platinum tier 4. So each rank has 4 tiers, and each rank has 4 tiers, and then each tier has 6 of those sections that you have to fill in. Now, what contributes to these. So let's take a look at, how do you get those filled in. Now to do that, I'm actually going to switch over to a website called DraftSim. They have a phenomenal resource on the ranking system. There's actually a lot of resources out there that explain how this ranking system works, but let me see if I can switch over there. There we go. So this website does a really good job of it. I kind of went into reader mode here so I could take all the ads away so you could just see this, but check out this website. I'll put a link in the description below. They have all kinds of great resources on a lot of topics about Magic the Gathering Arena, and I figured there's some graphs that I need to show you, so rather than just create them myself and try to show you, DraftSim's already done the work of creating them, and again, several websites out there have done it too, but I really like how DraftSim has presented the information, so we're going to just kind of look through this briefly, and we'll explain these few important considerations that I had no idea about when I was first starting to do ranked play in Magic the Gathering Arena. Okay, so just talks a little bit about what we kind of talked about. Okay, so here's where we're going to hang out for a second here. So you can see here these graphs here. So constructed best of 1, constructed best of 3, and limited best of 1. Limited is always best of 1. There's different tiers that you would approach, and there's different things that you would gain and lose depending on how your match ends up, if it's a win or a loss. Now, best of 1 versus best of 3, there is a difference there in constructed. So if you do, it's called traditional construct, or traditional standard, for example, would be a best of 3 constructed, because that means it's like a traditional Magic match where you sit down with your opponent and you agree to play 3 matches, or best 2 out of 3 essentially. So if someone wins the first 2, then it's over. So it's a best of 3 situation, and if you win 2 of those 3, that's counted as a win in terms of whether you rank up or not, whether you ascend on this chart or not. Best of 1 is just regular standard play. Standard ranked is what it's called in the game, and you go in against your opponent. You have 1 match. There's no sideboarding in between matches. It's just 1 match, win or lose. Whatever happens happens, and then you go up or down depending on what happened with your result, if you won or you lost. And then limited is, of course, the same way, because you just draft and then you play and you move on. So those are the differences there. Now, in terms of, let's just talk this through. So bronze. If you're at the bronze tier, this is what everybody starts out on. If you win, you gain 2 of those 6 steps, because you need 6 steps to advance to a tier. So if you win, you get 2, which, doing the math, that means you only need to win 3 times and you'll ascend to another tier. You'll ascend from bronze tier 4 to bronze tier 3 with 3 wins. And then if you lose, it actually doesn't count against you, which is really nice for the beginning players starting out in the ranking system for a season. If you're in bronze, you're not going to get penalized for losing. So you essentially, if you want to get through all 4 tiers, which each require 3 wins, then you have to have 12 wins total. Did I do that math right? 2, 4, 6? Yep, 12. Yes. Math. So you would need 12 wins, and then you'll ascend from bronze to silver. And that's 12 wins regardless of losses. You could have 100 losses and 12 wins. And if you get those 12 wins, congratulations, you have now reached the silver tier, and you've just increased the rewards that you'll get at the end of the season. Now, once you get into the silver tier, you will still gain 2 steps with a win, but you're actually going to lose 1 step if you lose the match. So it doesn't quite take you down all the way, so you're not penalized as much for a loss, but you are penalized more than you were in the bronze tier, which is good to know. So you'll still need 6 to advance, but you essentially have to have a higher win rate now, because for every 1 loss, you're going to need to make up for it. Now, when you move into the gold, it's exactly the same. So the gold rank is the same, 2 steps gained with a win, 1 step lost with a loss. But moving into platinum and diamond, it's a lot more cutthroat. You need to have a very solid win rate if you want to ascend. You need to have a win rate that's essentially above 50%. Because, as you can see, if you win, then you ascend by 1 step. If you lose, you descend by 1 step. So you need to, in order to get those 6 wins to advance to the next tier, you have to have 6 wins with 0 losses, netting you, essentially. Now, you're going to have losses. You're going to go up and down, most likely, unless you have the most OP deck ever, and you may. But that's one thing to keep note of, is that you have to have a really solid win rate so that you're moving up more frequently than you're moving down. And if you keep track of your own win rate, then you'll start to realize whether you have enough to advance in the platinum or diamond tier. Gold is definitely attainable with almost any deck if you play enough. If you play, a couple hours or so every day, roughly, on average, then within a month you could probably reach gold if you have a relatively competitive deck, and you can get plenty of relatively competitive decks just for free with the wild cards that I've explained in another video too, just to craft some, even like uncommons can be really powerful too, to get you some competitive decks depending on what you're looking for. I will give another shout out right here. Hello Good Game is another YouTube channel that I love. He does all kinds of deck techs, from really advanced ones to beginner deck techs that are incredibly competitive that help you rank up. So he does have a whole section of his channel that's focused on helping new players rank up with decks that don't cost rare and mythic rare wild cards to get. And you can just, or maybe there's one or two or very minimal amount, but a lot of his decks don't have any at all, and they're really competitive and you can rank up. I've used them to rank up. It's a solid channel. So check out Hello Good Game. Really fun channel. So I won't belabor this too much more. You can see it's a little bit different in best of 3. In bronze, it's still the same, but everything else is, you have to have a really solid win rate. 2 wins gained, 2 steps gained with a win, 2 steps gained with a loss in every tier. So, the same thing applies with any constructed best of 3. That would apply in the platinum and diamond. So you have to have a really good over 50% win rate if you want to get there. And of course, the higher over 50% you are, the faster you'll rank up. If you're like 55%, it's going to take you a long time to get there. You may eventually get there if you have enough time, but it's going to take a long time to get there. So that's how that works. Now let me move on to one other thing of note. If I can go through here. All right, so here is what happens on a reset. And this is the other thing this is probably the main thing I didn't realize for a while. But as you finish the season in a certain rank, you will start the next season in potentially a different rank, depending on how high you climbed. It's somewhat like, imagine the metaphor of like you're climbing up the stairs and you get knocked down the stairs a couple steps back, and you don't fall all the way down the stairs. You're not at the bottom. You kind of catch yourself a couple steps down, and you start climbing back up the stairs again, part way up the stairs now. So you have a little bit of a head start from where you were. That's kind of what happens every rank reset. It's a crude metaphor, but that's kind of what it is. So you'll see here, obviously if you're at the very beginning, if you're in bronze, if you end in bronze tier 4, 3, or 2, you're going to start the next season right back at the beginning, which is bronze tier 4. But if you can make it to bronze tier 1, even if you can't make it to silver, try to make it at least to bronze tier 1, because you'll get a little bit of a head start on the next season. If you're just starting out, this will probably be you. I've definitely been here. But if you end in bronze tier 1, you're going to start the next season in bronze tier 3. So you get a little bit of a head start, a few less matches that you need to win in order to ascend when the next season starts, when that rank resets and the next season starts. And then if you're in silver tier 4, you go back to bronze tier 3 as well. Silver tier 3 is also bronze tier 3. Silver tier 2, you start out at bronze tier 2. So you can kind of see these are the points where anytime you see the new rank that you'll have and that jumps up, that's kind of a milestone that you want to hit if you can. If you can attain to that milestone, use these as your mini goals. Maybe, everyone may not reach mythic, and that's totally fine, but the more that you can do, the higher you can end, the better you'll start off the next season, which will make it even easier for you to climb as you continue to build your collection. You get stronger decks, you get better cards, and you'll have just a much better time as you go. So, bronze tier 2, so gold tier 4, if you can hit gold tier 4, you start out the next season at bronze tier 1. And if you can hit gold tier 3, you start out silver 4, gold 2, silver 3, gold 1, silver 2, platinum 4, you start out silver 1. If you hit platinum tier 3, you're going to start out the next season at gold tier 4. That's a pretty good system. And the other thing that I did not mention earlier is once you reach a different rank, meaning bronze to silver to gold to platinum to diamond to mythic, if you reach one of those ranks, no matter how many times you lose, you cannot go backwards in rank. So even if you reach, gold tier 4 and you just lose every match from then on out, you'll end in gold tier 4. There's no way you can go back down to silver. What you can go up and down in is the tiers within a rank. So key consideration there. And then you'll notice also if you end in mythic, you start the next season in gold tier 1. So they're not going to give it to you for free. You're going to still have to do some climbing. You're at the top of gold tier, so you don't have to win very many matches to get back up into the platinum and then the diamond and then hopefully mythic again. But it does reset everyone at least that far back with the start of a new season to keep it a little bit more fair. Once you reach mythic, you will see your rank disappears in terms of what tier you're in, and it just gives you a percentage. It gives you a percentage of how many of the mythic players, how highly ranked you are. And once you reach, I think it's the top 1,000 or so. Never been there yet, so maybe one day, but I think it's about a top 1,000. You'll actually get a number by your ranking. It tells you what place you are. And you could, if you finish in the top tiers of mythic at the end of a season, you do qualify for some of the events where you can actually win real world prizes. in Magic the Gathering Arena just by playing at some tournaments and invitationals and whatnot. So that's pretty cool. Again, maybe one day. I do know people who have gotten there by being completely free to play. So it's definitely possible if you put in the time, you use some of the strategies that I'm giving you in this series as well. They will eventually lead you there. It takes time, and I'm not there yet, but eventually with time you'll stay on the right path, and you may get there yourself if that's your goal. Or maybe your goal is just to place somewhere in the middle here, high enough that you have a relatively easy start on the next season. That's fine too. So if that happens, then that's okay. But that is essentially the ranking system and how it resets, and where you end up on the next season if you start, and what rewards you get. So hopefully you guys found that helpful. I will be back with another video pretty soon, so stay tuned for that. Make sure you subscribe, leave a comment below if you found this helpful, or if you have any other questions, or definitely at least leave a like on the video, because that helps YouTube know what content to recommend to others as well. So I would really appreciate it, and we will see you guys in the next one.